We now have enough of the elements of the bluegrass style banjo playing that we can start playing some songs. One of the first songs most banjo players learn is Cripple Creek. It's kind of overdone, and there's not a banjo instructional book out there that probably doesn't have a Cripple Creek. So I put it in mine too. You might as well learn it. And I'm going to throw some new variations in it also that might make it kind of fun for you to play. A little different if you've already worked on it before. Cripple Creek, the B part, that is the second half, works really nice to practice all these new left-hand techniques like the slide, the pull-off, and the hammer-on, and also using the right-hand rolls like alternating roll and the pinch. The B part sounds like this quickly. I'll play it kind of up-tempo so you can get a feel for this and then kind of slow this down. It sounds complex, but it's really not when you break it down into little pieces. Basically, what's going to happen is we're going to use the alternating roll. Remember that one? The thumb on third, second string, fifth, and then middle. We're going to do that a couple times with the slide, 2 to 3 slide, like that. Let's look at that a little bit closer. You see how I'm going to slide here? And then I do it again on the next measure, and then I do a thumb on the 4th string, pinch. That would be like the first phrase. Watch that again. And then I start it again, but I do one slide, then I do a pull-off, and then a hammer on the 4th string, and then thumb on the 3rd. Then we basically repeat those 4 measures again, like this. Put it all together. To move around the neck, play lead in the upper registers, or just to play backup, we base a lot of this on just basic simple chords. We know a couple. We know G, open, and we know C, and D7. But we can close these chords. That is, we can eliminate some of these open strings, and they become movable. We can adjust them up and down the neck without changing anything on the left hand, but we get a different chord each time. It looks like this. If you remember the D7 chord, where we put our first finger on the second fret or second string at first fret, and then we put the second finger on the 3rd string second fret, we could continue adding some notes to that to make a full F chord. The 3rd finger would be added to the 4th string 3rd fret, and then the little pinky would come down on the 1st string 3rd fret. Now that's a lot of fingers, and that's going to be a little tough. Do you notice how I'm holding my hand though? My thumb is behind the neck, okay? And also my wrist is not up next to the neck. You don't want this. You want to keep that wrist back. There should be a little bit of a curl there. That's called an F chord. Now if you're getting a sound like this, it's probably a couple reasons. You're probably not pressing down hard enough, or maybe your fingers are on the frets. That's not good. You want them behind the fret. Or maybe your finger, like say the 3rd finger, is touching the 3rd string. You don't want that either. That's a G chord. That's the same chord as when we played with no fingers. That's open G, as we call it. And this would be called the closed G. Or sometimes we call it G chord F position, because in the lowest possible spot it would be an F chord. So this is G F position. F, you can get a lot of other chords from this just by moving them around. On page 51 I have a list there. F, of course, is first fret. That, by the way, is called first position because your first finger is pointing to first fret. Move it up to third fret, you have G. Move it up to the fifth fret, you have A. Move it up to the seventh fret is B. Eighth fret, just one fret higher, is C chord. Move it up 2 frets, so your first finger is at the 10th fret, you have D. And move it up 2 more frets, you have E. Your finger should now be pointing to a place where there are 2 dots. It's a double dot right there. That's an E chord. Now if you go up 1 fret higher, that's another F chord. In other words, this chord F at the 13th position is the same as the F chord in first position, just an octave higher. The same way with the G chord that you had in third position. When we move it down to the 15th position, that is also a G chord. And this is a good example of how we move around the neck. If this is G here, we can get a G down here. F, F.